By golly, I tell ya, these YouTuber super roast battles from Def Noodles are the gift that just keep on giving. But unfortunately, I've been caught in the crossfire and now it's my cheeks on the grill getting cooked. They got me strung up like a pig being rotated around an open flame because of my video from yesterday, where I talked about how at the most recent super roast battle, Def Noodles assaulted a man. The whole video is just spent me making fun of Def Noodles, but I've been called out for getting something wrong in regards to the person who got pushed. Now, I will fully admit I didn't know the whole context of the person who got pushed. I assumed it was just another audience member going up there to deliver a roast, as we saw in the last one. But apparently there's a very deep lore between him and Def Noodles, and it's so deep that it makes Tolkien's work look like creative writing done by a child. There's so many twists and turns with so many layers to this onion, it's remarkable. And I was called out by a couple YouTubers as well as Salvo, the person in the video himself, for not knowing this connection. And I take full responsibility for not researching this far enough. I just made the assumption that it was like the first super roast battle where it was just random people that Def Noodles lured in here, probably with the false pretense that it was going to be a popular stream or something. I didn't know that there was anything deeper to it, and I'm sorry for that. I wish I did know that though, because if I did, I would have made a lot more jokes about it. Because apparently Def Noodles invited Salvo was the guy on the stage, invited him there to perform roasts. His whole thing was pull up or shut up. So Salvo said bet and pulled up. And in response to that, Def Noodles got so upset his blood was boiling, eyes rolled into the back of the skull, and he was overcome with the devil. So he lashed out and gave him like a hockey body check from behind, sending him off stage. Now, after posting the video talking about it and giving my perspective, like I said, a couple YouTubers as well as Salvo himself didn't appreciate it, which confused me because the whole video is just making fun of Def Noodles and the event again, because it was yet another biblical catastrophe. Like, when the Lord flooded the world with 40 days and 40 nights of rain, that wasn't as apocalyptic as these awful super roast battles Def Noodles keeps hosting. So I was just making jokes about it again. So I didn't understand what people were so upset about. I even talked to Salvo Pancakes about it, and he explained that he believed that I was saying that his intention was to go there and cause a commotion. He thought that I portrayed him in the wrong way. And after he explained it, I totally understood where he was coming from, but that was never my intention, and I thought I made it really clear in the video, though maybe I missed the mark and did a poor job. I said multiple times there's no excuse for what Def Noodles did, but the part where I made my oops-a-daisy is when I was briefly talking about what Salvo's intentions possibly were with being there, and I was basing this off a series of tweets from audience members that were talking about what he was saying, as well as what his intentions were, giving their perspective on it, and I assumed since they were actually there in person, God rest their soul, I assumed that these were like an accurate description of the event, but I still always take these things with a grain of salt, so I didn't immediately accept that as like the full truth. I was just giving my take on if these tweets are accurate, then here's my opinion on it, here's how I feel. I never meant to say like this is 100% accurate and Salvo did these things and is 100% this person. I was just talking like if these are accurate, this is how I feel. And I thought I, made that clear, but clearly I didn't, and that's my fault entirely to see and hear. So if this is an accurate description, then his goal was to just be a big asshole and ruin the event. You see, when I hear things like that, if this is a true description of the event, then the intention was to be an asshole. I hear it as, okay, so if these people are telling the truth, then the goal was to be an asshole. But it's based on entirely if this is accurate, which I never was saying it was. Like, I was never trying to speak in absolutes like this guy is a douchebag and did this to do this. I was basing it off those tweets and saying if these are all accurate. Now, maybe it's because I made the video, so I know what my intentions were and the goal and what I was trying to convey here. But as a viewer, maybe it just didn't translate as well. And I'm sorry for that. I should have made it more clear, because I was never trying to say anything about this guy's actual goals or intentions. It was just making fun of Def Noodles and then giving my take on people that go places just to like cause a disruption or like harass people. And I never said that's what this guy's goal was 100%. I was saying if that was his goal based on those tweets, then here's my take on that. And I think things just got lost along the way, and I do apologize for that. And I wish I knew the deeper context, because there's a whole lot more I could talk about there. How can you fucking tell people to pull up or shut up and then get offended when they actually take you up on the offer? That is so embarrassing. So yeah, what actually happened here is Salvo got an invitation to Def Noodle's birthday party and then got his head slammed in the cake for no fucking reason. All he did was take him up on the offer, and Def Noodles blocked him from speaking multiple times and then ended up assaulting him. So, huge fucking L for Def Noodles, as well as an L for myself, because I should have looked at that and known more about it. There's a lot to talk about with that, but I do feel really bad that it came across in a way I didn't intend for it to, especially considering that Salvo is completely just a victim here. He got invited to this roast battle and was like, okay, I'll go roast him. I don't like this guy. He doesn't like me. We'll hash it out like men, like scholars on the big stage, roast each other, and that'll settle it. But that's not what happened. Def Noodles then came out of nowhere and got real fucking pugilistic, just tossed him off stage for no reason. So yeah, I fucked up by not knowing that component, which unfortunately led to a bad portrayal of Salvo by me, which wasn't my goal. So yeah, an L from Charles, but a bigger L from Def Noodles for this entire event. I'll spread the stinky cheeks a little bit and dive in briefly. It doesn't just stop at inviting him out and then pushing him. This whole thing was such a colossal fuck up. Just this whole thing top to bottom is a mess. It really feels like Def Noodles planned for a fight here. The second he knew Salvo was coming, he like battened down the hatches and sounded the air raid siren and was ready to scrap, just turn it into like a smackdown, you know? So he tells him pull up or shut up, and Salvo actually does pull up, and Def Noodles clinched his fist like Arthur right before slugging DW and threw him off the stage because he was upset that he actually went. And not only that, he also got a drink thrown on him earlier in the night. I went deep on here. I wanted to make sure I understood everything now to be like the fucking all-omniscient authority on what happened at this Super Roast battle. So yeah, Salvo also got a drink thrown on him earlier in the night. Also, Salvo's the one who brought the majority of the audience to this event. It seems like the reason people even showed up to begin with was for Salvo. So that probably also played a role in Def Noodles having such a giant blow-up for it, which is just a massive blunder from Def Noodles, because if he had actually just gone through with the roast battle, like actually roasted with one of his biggest critics here, that would have went over much better for him. He would have come out with like a much better reputation, like, okay, this is a guy who squashes the beef in the exact way he advertised. Pull up or shut up, we're gonna square off on stage with roasts. But he couldn't do it. He shied away. He fucking pussied out and instead shoved him. A guy who you invited there under the notion that it would just be like actual roasts back and forth. But instead it became like fucking trial by fire, combat, which no one was expecting to happen. So I can't believe this shit keeps happening at these roast battles. I don't even know where the next one's going to be held. The next one might legitimately be held in some kind of underground octagon fight arena. You know, like you'll go from Def Noodle Super Roast battles to watching cockfights next door. Like, it just feels like it's just now become like a fighting circuit. It's crazy. It's just absolutely crazy. But again, overall, I just want to apologize to Salvo as well as anyone else that got the idea that I was trying to say something about him that I wasn't. I never meant to portray him in any negative way or try and explain what his intentions were. That wasn't the goal with the video. I was just joking about the event, and I made a mistake along the way. So hopefully that clears everything up, and how joyful it was to learn that this event went even worse than I thought it did. That's really about it. So yeah.